a set of 4 lines. We do what we can with it, and then I'll show the answer key, then another 4 lines, show the answer key, another 4 lines, and then the answer key. Apo, away from, run away. Thesti is going to be a dictionary word. How about this word?
And,
yes.
And this little accent makes what kind of sound?
Ha.
Ha, right. And so how would you pronounce this?
humes.
Humes.
It almost sounds like human. And do you remember what this is?
You.
Okay.
The.
Ta.
All.
All.
Panta, yeah.
Even if it just said pan, it would mean all. Panta also means all. This one you had to sound out, and I think you can get it by sounding it out.
Orgin.
Orgin. If you drop the N, what does it remind you of?
Orgy? Thumon.
Thumon. Now this is the THUM is part of a word that we have seen before, but it's not long enough to, it might not trigger your memory. But do you have any idea what this word might be?
Thymus gland.
Yeah, you're right, because the upsilon become a Y. Oh, I hadn't considered that.
Yeah, I got rage, fury, anger, wrath.
Right.
Oh.
The thum is the sense of smoldering.
Oh, smoldering.
Yeah. So macrothumia, which is the word that you learned, was the word for patience, which means much smoldering. In other words, you have a long fuse before you blow up. This one doesn't have the macro, and it just says, I'm smoldering and stand back. You know, I might explode at any time. I'm hostile, angry, and now I'm going to explode all over you. Thumon. But kudos for turning the upsilon into a Y and a thymus gland. It's
just a free association.
Yeah. I go with that. How about this word?
Kakion. That's something bad?
Yes, we learned it as kakos.
Cacophony?
Cacophony, yeah, which means
what
is
bad
cacophony?
Sound.
Bad sound, right.
Okay.
How about this one here?
Oh, that's an easy one. Blasphemy.
Yeah.
Yes, because you sound it out. Blasphemy. Yep. Blasphemy.
Yeah.
So we're angry, we're smoldering, we do bad things, and we blaspheme. Yeah, these are all, we shouldn't be doing these things. So that's, in essence, the gist of this particular sentence is stop doing these things. Okay. So how can you figure this one out?
Astrologion.
All right. Do you see any roots in there?
Logion, like word?
There you go. Okay, so we may not know what this particular longer word is, but the root has something to do with a word. Very good.
It's an admonition to always use short words.
Yeah, like two letters. Ek.
From.
Or.
Out of.
Out. Mm-hmm.
The.
Kind of. What kind of the?
It's genitive. It's possessive.
So you'd say of the. Yeah, out of the.
Stomatos, mouth.
Yes. And what's the word for stomach? Very similar.
Cation.
Stoma?
It's got a K right there. It would be stomachos,
Stomachos.
Okay.
Okay.
which would be the stomach, but stomatos is just the mouth part. Yep. Very good. And here's another H. So
Humon.
humon
Ooh.
and meaning
Human?
Yours.
yours. So
Oh.
this is a genitive ending. So it would be of you all, or we would write it as yours. And you remember what a raised period means?
No.
It's just simply a colon.
Oh yes, those were deceptive.
So it's not, it's kind of like here's an opening clause, and now it's going to go off to the real meat of the sentence, which is verse 9.
What about that little C looking thing?
That's a C, and that just says that says go look in the footnotes for.
Oh, it's a footnote thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's a footnote.
Not a symbol.
No, it's just a footnote.
They make it hard on us with weak brains. May.
Or me or may, and
Not.
Oh, sudeste.
so this means not or do not, one of those two words. So this one, you were trying to pronounce it. Go ahead and finish pronouncing it.
Sudeste.
If you didn't have this, just the first 5 letters, what would it be?
Pseudo.
Very good. Which means?
Not quite the real thing.
Yep. So a pseudo artist is a false artist. One's pretending to be an artist, or pseudography is false writing. It's writing that's pretending to be written hundreds of years ago, but it was written in the modern times.
Jeez, that's them.
No, the accent is an don't care accent, so it's just EIS.
It's to.
Or if it was a preposition,
Ice. Into.
into, right. So N is inside the lion, ice is going into the lion.
Because he's hot and needs some ice inside.
I missed that. Say again?
I said the lion is hot. He's eating ice.
Oh, there you go.
What's going inside?
Yep. So this is into, falseness into.
Alleluia.
Alleluia. Yep.
Praise.
Nice try. Nice try. Yeah. Yep. That would. So all by itself, just ALL usually means but. But this is not a preposition. It's all one word. Alleluia is the word for one another.
Oh.
That's what I got.
Or
Not like praise at all.
yeah. That's just a dictionary word. You'd have to.
Okay. In Hebrew, hallelujah means praise God. So
right.
I'm just stirring up any words I know.
Well, that was the goal in this particular session, was usually try to sound them out like pseudo, and then you go, oh, I know that word. And so you get credit for thinking hallelujah for this one.
Even though it's Hebrew.
Yeah, even though it's Hebrew, right?
I got ice wrong because for some reason all week been going through my head. When I was a little kid, I went to church in Latin. Panem de celo prestiti eis. You have given them bread from heaven. And then we said, omne delectamentum in se habentum, having all sweetness within it. I don't know why that came out of my brain cell, but it did.
You've got an amazing memory. Okay.
Yeah.
Only for some things. I won't tell you the embarrassing things that happen with numbers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this also could be a number. If the accent went the other way and it was heis, it would be what number?
No.
Don't remember.
Number
One?
one.
Oh,
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
going to say 1.
that's
So this little accent mark is really important. Very rare that you'll get numbers in the Greek text, but if it is a 1, you'll see the accent going the other way. So it's heis. Okay, over here we have a preposition that's dropped its closing vowel because the rest of the word starts with a vowel. So this is apo, which means,
we just did that, didn't we?
yes, we did. We did it up over here.
Away.
Away from, right. This sa that I've underlined is a clue that 1, it's a verb, and 2, it's a past tense verb. So we know it's going to be, and this oi on the end is like, wait a minute, that sounds like a noun. So we'll cover that later, but the sa is the critical part. This is an adjunct thingamabob that's shoved in there that says this is a past tense verb. Do we see anything in here that's a root? We see the prefix, that's op. We know that saw onward is just a verb tense. So that leaves these
Oh,
4 letters left.
the thing that comes to mind is apothecary, and that's not close enough.
Yeah. Okay. We will divulge it later then. It is a dictionary word, but I'm just thinking maybe, yeah. This, if it was 2 prepositions, apo plus ek, I was thinking maybe ek could be out,
Or from?
out from. So of course it drops the O because it's 2 vowels in a row. But then if that's true, then it leaves just du as the root. And my brain, I can't think of what du would mean. So when we get to there's been enough time since I created these slides and made the key that I have already forgotten what du means. So we will get to it.
Oh, you're as bad as me.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said you're as bad as me. I've probably
yeah.
already forgotten the first line.
Yeah, apo. Okay, cone,
Huh?
The accusative.
Yes, it is. So there's some action on, this is the thing being acted upon, right?
Direct object.
Correct.
I got old.
Oh,
Interesting. I had to look in the dictionary. You got the word old for it? Okay.
Yes. What did you get?
I will go check it out. I believe you're right. Because in context, it talks about this thing being old. So this object, on, and on.
Yeah.
So what is this whole word here?
Anthropon. Man.
anthropon.
Yeah.
Man.
The man or the old human. So this would be the old man.
Okay.
And since we're already talking about all these bad things going on that we shouldn't be doing, those are traits of the old man or our old.
Oh, not as in aged. It's like former.
Yes. So in this case, it's our former human nature. And most translations say the old man to talk about our old sin nature, but it might be helpful to say the old human fallen nature. And that would be a paraphrase of what the Greek just simply says man or human. All right, soon.
With.
With, like synagogue, soon, or
Ah,
synagogue. Yep, soon, with.
I got the for that.
Very good.
pro-
I got deeds for that.
eh,
Go ahead and pronounce it.
processing.
Yeah, so this is like an X. So proxysin, prox, prox,
Practicing.
proxysin.
Practicing. Like practice.
Bingo. Yes, which is why I wanted us to try to pronounce some of these. Yeah, so practice. Yeah. So many translations will use the word deeds, but these are things that are repetitive. It has a sense that we're practicing all these bad things as if they need much practice to do. And then ought to is of something.
It's a oneself. That's a reflexive, isn't it?
Yep. And it's referring back to this old man.
Yeah.
So it's the old human nature with the practices of it. And the it refers back to the old human nature. Kai, of course, is and. Now, notice this saws again. It says past tense verb. Notice that it's got the same du as here, except this time it's got an en in front of it, a different preposition. What is en?
Oh, I was seeing endo as inside. Wrong language again.
Yeah. So in is in.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Ek is out. So now we're just stuck with this du. And these two words are indeed related. Their endings are identical. Dousa menoi. But the sa part is not a part of the root. It's just a flag to tell you it's a past tense verb. Lots of words here. So this dictionary word theste, it has the sense of putting. But when you put apo away from put, it's a sense like I'm putting whatever we're talking about away. I'm putting them on a shelf somewhere, or I'm putting out in the trash. Away from put. And I wanted to draw your attention that this is an example of an irregular verb, which means none of the rules make sense. and you just, it's like English. We have lots of words that just drive foreign speakers crazy. They're going, how is this the same root? And here in Greek is tithemi is to throw off something. Apotithemi in particular is to throw off. But this is emphasize, very irregular verb form of apotithemi. I see no link between this and this, but you go to a dictionary and there they are. So a more positive says, I'm throwing off something now. This is more like maybe like a command. Throw the following things away. Just put them away. Get rid of them. And let's see, and you all. And so what are we putting away? We have the many. So this is a plural the. Panta is all. And I guess I could have put in parentheses all things. But panta does carry the sense of things. And put together the many, all things. In English, we would say these things. So put away all these things. And it's a comma. I would have expected a semicolon because the logic of the sentence cries out for a semicolon, but it is indeed a comma. So wrath, orge. Thumon could also I kept using the word smolder because macrothumia is patience, much smoldering. But it could also be fuming. So it's just someone just wandering around the house, just fuming. You know, it's like, stay out of that person's way.
It was way, way, way back in a far, far brain cell. I thought there was a word like that was related to the censer, which is the container that they burn incense in. And
Yes, it makes smoke.
fumiatri.
There we go. Now, is that a Latin word?
No, in Latin it's thermal.
Oh, okay. So what's the word you used came from a Greek root, obviously.
Fumiatri is Greek.
Okay. And it means that censer that they wave down the center aisle. Okay. Yeah. That's good.
You look at the one
that's good
at,
smoldering.
well, if you look at the one in, I think it's a Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela, it's big and it swings like, I don't know, 50 feet or something. It's enormous.
That's the pilgrim site in Portugal or Spain? Portugal, yeah. Up near
Well, I'm not sure whether it's Spain or Portugal, but it's over there.
Up near the mountain range.
In the Basque Lands.
Yeah. How fun. So we're learning a little bit of history as well. Kakin is bad. Sometimes it gets translated as evil. It's just an adjective, so you do have to put in parentheses things or ones. It is plural. So bad and evil somethings. Blasphemies, you got that one. This word is very rare in the New Testament, and it's the word for obscene. And so you got the log part for logos is words. So these would be obscene words. Ek, out of the mouth. So put away, either in the trash or on a shelf somewhere, wrath, fuming, bad, evil things, blasphemies, obscene words out of the mouth of you all. So out of your mouth is how it would be in English. You would use the word your, which is what I think, Pat, you translated this as. May typically becomes not, but when it's standalone like this, it carries more of a sense of command, do not. And the falseness in modern translations gets translated as lie, so do not lie. But I like the idea of falseness. It's like, don't put falseness into one another. Don't kind of like shoehorn a false narrative into another person's brain, is rather than just, I'm just going to lie to you. It's like, I'm not even going to try to sneak a falsehood into you. It's like, this message is don't even actively lie. Don't even try to sneak one past your neighbor. There's not a word here for but. It kind of demands a but here. And that's why I put it in brackets, but it's not in the Greek. And now let's break this one apart. Apo is away from. Ek is indeed out. Sa is past. Oi is a plural what, something, so I'll put in things. So the word do is another form of put. I think this put that's up here, the first word we had was more of a throwing action. This put still has, I wonder if these are synonyms with one another. I couldn't find out the answer to that, but it isn't. Both of these carry that sense of put. So when you string them all together, away from output, you get the sense of discard. I'm discarding these things.
Yeah.
So then ton is the, by the way, we will come to this word again down here. So if this is output, this is input. Very curious turn of the phrase. It's almost like who wrote the Colossians. So this is Paul writing. It's almost like he's playing with words here to get you to think of the dynamic of how bad things kind of work into our brain and how we have to, process them out of our brain. So paleon, Pat got right, as old, or it could be as former. Anthropon, I translated as person, but I'm kind of leaning toward human nature would be an equally valid translation. Soon with tes is a plural, the many. Praxisen really sounds like practice of it. So discard the former old person with its many practices. And input, and this is a past, so both of these are past tense. It says, okay, we're talking to you Christians. You've discarded these other things, and in its place, you've inputted these others. And now we're going to go into the next verse. Are you ready?
Yes.
There you go.
Aha. The accusative is direct object. Oh, I got
Neon.
new for that.
Yeah.
Right. And notice this is O-N, 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 O-N. This is one phrase, and I suspect that this the is going to be jettisoned, and it's going to be the new something or other. What is Anna?
Up.
Yep, up from. And the rest is a dictionary word. Did one of you find it in your dictionary?
Anakainumenon.
I got renew for that.
Okay. Renew. Okay, very good. Menon is also a clue that you've got a verb. So it's some sort of verb activity. Ice is into. Here is epi.
On top of?
Yep. On top of, not hovering over, but actually on top of. And you should know this root word.
What are we? Oh,
Gnosis.
gnosis. Yeah, knowledge.
Knowledge. So this is wooden form is upon knowledge. We'll find out what would be an equivalent English word, but it's something applying knowledge upon knowledge. Kat. Notice the A is missing. This is the preposition kata. It's missing an A because the next word starts with a vowel.
So is that last mark an apostrophe?
It just is a clue that there's a missing letter. Yes.
It's down from.
Down from. Now in the original Greek, which was all uppercase, there wouldn't be any of these little accent or squiggles. So this is sometime in the 300s or 400s where they added these to help people who were not native Greek speakers.
Somebody told me there wasn't any punctuation, like how St. Paul's letters go on and on and on.
Right.
And they said some people had to guess where to break them.
Yep, that is correct. And even when they have done so in modern translations, his sentences just run on and
Yep.
run on. Yeah. He just his stream of consciousness. You can imagine him just speaking and preaching this, and the poor scribe is scribbling this down as fast as he can because Paul's not stopping to breathe. He's just speaking out, and in the middle of a sentence, that reminds me of something else, and he's off on another tangent, and then he comes back to the main thing. Meanwhile, one big long sentence. Yeah. Kata, down from.
Icon.
Yes. Sounding it out gave you the answer. Okay. And it means icon
Image.
or image. Uh-huh.
Of the.
Of the.
Okay, I got a verb to create.
Yeah.
But
So this is a dictionary word. You're not. I would. It's not in my vocabulary, but the KT is a hard one to pronounce. It's like it's like Tis Santos. Kitas. Yeah. I
Like
struggle with.
yes.
Ktis Santos.
Yeah.
Ktis Santos.
Tis Santos. Right. And this is another it.
Yeah, reflexive.
Mm-hmm. Comma. Now this one is not apo, it's hopu.
Oh.
It's got an H. So if you're you'll still find it in your dictionary under O, but it's got an O in front of it. The OU tells you
It's a genitive.
genitive. Frankly, I've forgotten what this. I want to say it means which or that or something like that.
I got where.
Where? Okay.
Not.
Yeah. Ook.
I got that's a there is. Or is.
This is yeah, okay. I want to say it's in because of en, but the iota on the end is throwing me. So you got the word is for that?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Hellene, Greek.
Yes, where we get Hellenist
Yeah.
or Hellenistic. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's what the Greeks call themselves. Hellenist. Yeah, Hellen, Helene. Kai is Anne. And how about this next one?
Judeos. They Jewish.
Jews, right?
Jews.
So this I kind of mimics the Hebrew of a yes sound, but it really is an I, not even a full I, Iudeos. Yep. So Greeks and Jews.
Peritue.
Mm-hmm. So
Very
around. Okay.
That's
Tommy or Tomei, do you remember?
Okay. Peritome.
May not remember. It could be a dictionary word.
I got
Go ahead.
circumcised.
Yes.
Circumcised.
Tomei is cut.
Oh, cut.
So
Okay.
these are
Cut.
a round cut. Round
Oh,
cutter.
circumcised.
Yeah. So this is Greek slang. It's what the Greeks called the Jews as a way of, putting them down. And then the Jews said, sounds like a good word to us. And it's similar to what Christians meant, little Christ. So it was a put down on the believers that, oh, you're just pretending you're little tiny Christ. And the slur stuck. And we said,
well, that's what we're supposed to do, become more and more like him.
Yeah. And so the pagan Roman and Greek world, they looked at what was so oddball about the Jews. They did the circumcision. It's like, oh, you're just a bunch of round cutters, Yep. It's kind of like I'm not sure I would want that name, but I'd rather be a Judeos. But they throw. So when you see things like that, you don't catch it when you're reading the English that this is really a slang slur term.
Yeah.
Kai is Anne. How about this one?
Acro, something high.
Mm-hmm, definitely. So acro is I, and the rest is a dictionary word, and the root is not Greek. It's a loan word, and I'll cover that when we get to it. But definitely high. Something is high.
Barbaros.
Barbarous. A barbarian, yeah.
Barbarian.
Our pastor used to say that the Greeks called all the people who were north of them barbarians because that's what their language sounded like they were going bar, 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 and so they became by what, the Greeks imagine them saying all the time. They're so uneducated, all they can say is bar, 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 barbarous. Yep. Barbarians.
Scythes, Scythians.
Right. So the U does, in this case, does turn to a Y. Scythians.
I would not have got that.
I'm impressed. Pat, good for you.
Servant or slave.
Yes.
And then there's oh, that rings a bell, but I don't know which one.
Okay. So here the
I got
epsilon in front tells you what kind of verb is it.
past.
So it's a past tense. And this is another version of luo. And
Loosen.
loosen. So past loosened also means it's a subject noun. So it's the past loosed one.
Free your slaves?
Free or slave. So this would be slave or past freedman. So this would be equivalent in English. We'd call it.
Oh, yeah, slave or freeman.
Freedman. Yeah. So a person who once was a slave, either they bought their freedom or they had earned it by, or did something meritorious and was given their freedom.
That's but.
But so we saw the other word with one another, alla lalus. Here, alla just by itself means but.
The.
And it's plural, the many.
Panta, all of them.
Yeah. So the many, all things. So this is once again, these things. And
In.
And
See. Well, I got all for that.
Really?
I've seen.
Yes. So it's kind of like pon and panta. The PA in front is your clue. It's another form of all.
Huh.
Christos.
Christos. Yeah. Yeah, that KH sound. Christos. Yeah. And we finally get the end of the sentence. So let's look at the answer key. The new something or other, the up from newness. So you said renewing is good. And menon or menos at the end usually has kind of like that ing feeling of verb. So whatever the root is, in this case, newness, I'm newing it. And up from means I'm renewing it. So the wooden form is up from newnessing, but when you get to the dictionary, it's going to say renewing, right? And so the previous slide, we had talked about the old person. So the likely meaning here is it says put off the old person with all these things and output the old person and input the new something or other. And I had to put the word person in here. Input the new person. And this would disappear and you would say renewing, the new or renewing person. You get a sense that there's something generating inside of you. Renewing in what way? Well, renewing into just simply knowledge. It could be upon knowing, but they translate it just as knowledge. I keep trying to drive home the going for the wooden approach first, so that you kind of get a feel of what's the underlying Greek, and then go to smoothing it out later. Down from also has the sense of according to. So kata hyon means the Gospel of John. It means down from John or according to John. And so I got this gospel, pardon me, I got this good news down from John. He passed it down to me. And we translate that as according to. So according to the icon or the image of the, and you're right on the mark creating, Pat.
Uh-huh.
And the OS tells you it's a noun, so it's the creating one. And then you got an it there. It's like, what is the it referring to? What is the new referring to? I have to believe that it's a back reference to the new person. So it says, input the renewing newness based upon the knowledge according to the creating one. It's like, okay, what is it? Yeah. So what's being created? What's being created is the new person. But by itself, it's kind of awkward. You just got this word "it" sitting out by itself.
Well, it's a reflexive, and they have lots of reflexives in German, and you often don't translate it because it's part of how the verb works.
Right. And I guess if you grew up in Germany, it's just natural to speak that way, and you don't give a second thought to it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But this on goes along with this long string of on words: ton, neon, tone, anake, no, menon, aton. They're all linked together. So now we get a new thought. You said where, bingo, that is indeed the word. Not, not. And you said is, I said in. There is not Hellenists or Greeks and Jews. If I was to roll these together, I said where there is not vast civilized differences. And then you got these are religious terms. So the around cutters and the high something or other means excluded. So this is an included person religiously and an excluded person religiously.
Okay, I got uncircumcised for that.
Right, which is kind of an oxymoron because you can't undo something that's been done. When you cut it away, you can't sew it back on. So you're right. So it's like, you could say not yet circumcised, but
Okay, well, it's like the Hellenists, or the Greeks and the Jews, the circumcised and the uncircumcised.
right, and that there would be a completely redundant to say that. So I have to believe this one is talking about inclusion and exclusion, where these are talking about my civilization, the Greek civilization and the Jewish civilization. So I might have civilized differences. You guys eat all these strange foods, and we Jews, we eat only these foods. But these here is a mark of Jewish identification. So you're either in or you're out. And so Paul is doing this on the left hand and on the right hand. He's doing these comparisons. Barbarian and Scythians. I put ones in here: a barbarian one, a Scythian one, a slave one, a past freed one. He then just gives a string of, he's still doing this left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand. So Greeks and Jews, circumcised and not yet circumcised, barbarians and Scythians, slaves and past freed. So as I looked at this, I said, so now what I'm doing is what we call hermeneutics. We're trying to interpret. We've gone beyond translation. So the purple is not translation, but an interpretation. So I have civilized differences, religious differences, former uncivilized enemies, social and economic status. He's saying all of these things that would normally split us apart, we are, but all of these things, all of these separations have become one whole or entire inside Christ. And so you could have a barbarian who's, still wearing furs and carrying a big old hunking sword, worshiping alongside people. Scythians were the archers. They would fight on horseback with bows and arrows. So even Christ allows us to even have communion with our enemies, as uncivilized as they may have been.
I would have guessed that a Scythian would use a sword like a scythe.
Oh, you mean like a scimitar with a curved sword?
Well, the words look a lot alike to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you found someone wielding such a weapon, they would definitely not be your friend. Yeah. So this long sentence by Paul, I had to really kind of untangle because it looked like he was just being redundant all the way through. But he's off the top of his head, he's just trying to find all the possible differences that could separate people. And he says, once you've come and decided to yield and kneel at Jesus, Jesus trumps everything.
There must be a similar verse, because there's one that starts with, there is no male or female. Greek, slave or free.
But you're right. There is another verse very similar to it. I did find this one in Ephesians 2:12, where he says, remember that you were at that time, before you became a believer, separated from Christ. You were alienated from the commonwealth of Israel. So you were an excluded person, and strangers to the covenants of promise, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You weren't part of that promise. You had no hope, and you didn't have God in the world. You had all these pagan deities and statues and things, but no personal relationship with the creator of the universe. And so I think after Paul got very wordy with this part, he really made it much more succinct in Ephesians 2:12. And the passage you mentioned as well, there's neither slave nor free, male nor female. But we are all one in Christ Jesus. I think that's the way the verse ends. Same word that we saw before, saw, past tense, in, do is another word for put. So this has got to be
Put in, put on?
Put in or put on, or like the computer term, input, must have more input. Okay, input.
Therefore. Like.
Host like.
Eclectic?
Yes.
Very
good. And the OIN tells you?
I don't remember.
It's plural.
Plural.
Oh, okay.
So
Plural.
This would be the eclectic ones.
Of the God.
The OU of God.
Holy.
Yeah. Of God, holy, hagioi. The plural ending means?
It's an adjective.
Yeah, and the oi will tell you it's more than one.
Yes, plural nominative.
So these would be holy parentheses ones, and we can translate it as saints.
Oh, okay.
But it's also holy ones because it's just a standalone adjective. Kai is and. Now notice we saw menos and menon before. Here's noi. So this it's a plural.
That's love.
Right, but it has that sense of ing in it, so it's currently being loved. Yeah, and
but it says agape instead of agape.
Right. So when you put an E, epsilon, in front of an alpha, it turns into an eta. So you get the past tense. So the root is indeed agape, for unwarranted, unmerited love. In past tense, you put the E in front of it, and it turns it into an agape. The OI tells you it's plural. So this would be something like the beloved ones that are still being beloved. It carries the sense of it's still, you weren't beloved in the past. You were started out beloved and you're still being beloveding, which is kind of it doesn't carry it in English, but I love how it reads in Greek. This word is a tongue twister. The gamma with a chi gives you an unk sound, very similar to the word anchor. Anchor in Greek is also an alpha, gamma, chi. So you would pronounce this as splankna, as opposed to splag. Just doesn't work, so it's splankna. Dictionary word for me. Did you find it?
I got heart.
Heart? Did you say heart?
Yes, heart.
Okay.
You got mercy for that.
Okay. Oik. Tiermon. Ooh. So that you know that part's an of. OU is an of. So I'm likely to think it'll be of mercy. So if we take your translation, Pat, it would be heart of mercy, or a merciful heart. This is a dictionary word, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I got kindness.
Can you pronounce it, Pat?
Christoteta, which Christoteta, which Christ, it reminds me of Christos.
Anointed?
We'll see. I have forgotten what it means.
Well, Christ means anointed.
Right, Christ, but I don't know what this word means.
I got kindness.
Okay. Now this one wraps around, so it's a real long word. Ta, pe.
No, frosunin.
Yep. Frosusen. Frosune. Right. It's just a long word. I had to look it up in the dictionary. So this is a dictionary word, that's a dictionary word. So this whole thing has a string of rarely used words. How about this word here?
Tita. I've heard that.
Yep.
I got meekness for that.
Right. Another dictionary word.
Yeah.
Now, this is the word, remember the fuming? There's your H-U-M again.
Macrothumion.
So much.
Great big smoke?
Great smoke, or it comes across as patience. In other words, it's much smoldering.
Oh, very, very long fuse.
You got a long fuse. Yeah, it's smoldering, but it's such a long fuse that you'll take your time before you blow your top. Yeah, so this is patience. I was so glad when I finally got here. I go, finally a word I know.
Okay. Anechomenoi.
Oh, I put an R in there that doesn't belong.
Yeah. So we know that the oi tells you what?
Plural.
And the men, menos or menon,
Ing? Was that?
is an inging. So whatever this verb is, and it's describing ones, people's. So a bunch of them, and it's an ongoing behavior, whatever it might be. Yep.
Funny.
This one looks like but because Allah means but it's wraps around, so it's al le lon. Alelon. Yeah.
Alelon.
Yeah. And it's similar to, let's see if did I do the Allah before?
With one another.
Where to go? That one right there. I have to believe it's really tied to the same root here.
Yeah. Because the endings are simply grammatical endings. It's the
Right.
same word.
Right. The omega n tells you it's it's genitive. Chi is
Plural.
an.
Yes, genitive plural.
Charisomenoi.
Mhm.
Being charitable?
So it's ones, it's plural, and it's an ing type of feeling to it. So both this word is something's ongoing, one another, and something else is ongoing.
Yeah. Toys. Is auto self in there? Or am I?
Now, so tois tells you it's a plural sort of it, but this is a he tois, and it's not a past tense. That's why I put a circle around it here. So it is a I mean, could it be this or these or that? We'll see it in the key, but did one of you find this in the dictionary?
I got another reflexive out of it.
Okay.
Oneself.
Oneself. Okay.
Oh.
I got if.
If.
I got any.
Right. Now this tis usually needs an accent mark, either leaning to the right or leaning to the left. And here there's no accent mark at all. So I have to we kind of have to take your best guess at it. So what did you say, Pat?
Any.
Any. Okay.
Oh, that one's
That's at or directly in front of.
Right. Facing.
Throat.
What did you say, Maura?
Oh, I was just repeating. Facing.
Awesome. Yeah.
Tina. I got another any for that.
Okay.
I got the to have. That's from the to have verb.
Okay. You've been doing a lot of good dictionary word in short order because you didn't get this information until yesterday.
Yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. So that and playing your clarinet, you were able to get caught with this. So yeah, these last 4 lines are a little bit more difficult since it was sending me to the dictionary a lot. Here's the answer key. So definitely input, then input as or so that. And now eclectic is the right word. It's eclectic ones, but you will find modern translations using the word elected. And it just doesn't carry quite the same idea. Elected, how are you elected? But eclectic says I'm selecting from a diverse pool. Which doesn't get carried into English properly. So eclectic, when you think of an eclectic collection, it's like a whole bunch of mixed marbles in the same bag. Sometimes we think of eclectic as being oddball, but it's just like if someone says, "Oh, well, you're very eclectic," meaning you have such a wide, diverse set of interests. And it carries the sense that, yes, I am selecting, but I'm selecting from a diverse pool. A red marble, a purple marble, a glass eye, etc. Of the God, holy ones or saints, and past loved ones. And it is past tense, but it still has a sense of ongoing. I was loved in the past, but I'm still being loved, and I haven't stopped being loved. And so you have the sense of continuation, ing.
Like have been.
I have been and continue to be a loved one.
No, we don't have that in English.
Yeah. It carries this continuation sense, the ing sound. Splankna, you had heart. This could be sometimes translated as bowels of mercy, or, my guts. It was like, where in the human body in ancient civilizations was the seat of emotions? Was it, some cultures it was the heart, and others it was your gut. If you got anxious and fearful, it would be your gut that would tighten up. If you were had a delicious meal and you were talking with your best friends, your stomach was rather loose and enjoying a full meal. So, it's like, I have a stomach of mercy for you, or, but heart would work because that's our English culture. Heart of mercy, heart of mercy. Kindness, goodness, good one for there. Tapi nophosunein, hard word for me, is the word for humility, which is curious because the very next word talks about humility as well. So humility. So this kind of word is humble, but it carries the sense of someone who's being gentle. And the closest we come to it in English is someone who's meek. So humility carries the sense of humbleness, but gentle humble carries the sense of meekness. They almost are synonyms with each other. Here's patient, of course, the long fuse. This word is just dictionary words. All these dictionary. Long, a lot of rare words that you'll see in the New Testament. This has patient or enduring. And so plural ones. So it's you're enduring ones mutually or reciprocally. We use the word one another, but the wooden word is mutual or reciprocal. And it translates best as one another. So we are smoldering a long time with one another. We're enduring one another. We're being kind with one another. We have guts of mercy for one another. All of these are leading up to the alalon, which means one another. And this is the word for charis, where we get the word charisma. It means grace.
I was thinking of charity.
Yeah, but charis would be grace giving. Yeah, or charity. But it's you're giving grace to one another. Giving grace to themselves. It is reflexive. So it's you as a plural. So if I'm in a community of believers, I know that we're made of sinful humans and we tend to get on each other's nerves and we tend to do stupid things. And this whole phrase has the sense of I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I'll give you do-overs. Everyone has a bad day now and then, sort of thing. It's just like it carries the sense of yes, that was a dumb thing to say yesterday, but I'm over it. So these are all traits compared to the other traits that were in verse 8. And which or if, any, facing any. This is an unusual phrase. This has the sense of if anyone has an issue with another person, let's say you've had an argument, that's what this kind of facing says. Any facing any. It's almost like I'm facing off, almost doing fisticuffs. If anyone has something against another person, and then the verse ends with the word a complaint. So any facing any has a complaint. And I couldn't find the dictionary, so kudos to you, Pat, for getting the word for have. You said have, right?
Yeah, it's from the to have verb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was drawing a complete blank with it. But so if anybody has a complaint against somebody else, do all these good things. Someone is still maybe not repenting. It kind of reminds me of Jesus when he says, how many times, Peter's asking, how many times should I forgive my brother? 7 times? And he thinks he's being really holy by saying 7 times. And Jesus comes back and says, oh, no, 7 times 70. And that was just that was a concept that was just so alien. And here you're seeing that very concept showing up here. Since you're loved, love one another. Since you're loved, have mercy. Since you're loved, show kindness. Since you're continuing to be loved, be grace-giving to one another, even if they don't deserve it. Have mutual and reciprocal care for one another. So I just think this is a wonderful, long, run-on sentence that Paul has put together, but it compares it to what was in verse 8. So verse 8 says these are bad things that you got to throw out in the trash. Here are the good things you need to input into your heart. And that's why I said, I think some translations say put on therefore, but I like that idea of input. I'm taking in a completely different mindset. I'm taking in God's mindset on how I can be kind and caring and compassionate to other people.
Internalize it.
Thank you. Yes.